Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. The Honorable Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Deputy Prime Ministers and Ministers, the Honorable Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Members of Parliament, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen in the gallery, and fellow citizens. We acknowledge the traditional owners of the land we stand on, Nandon Mai, Wana Turang Tisuba, and pay our respects to their chiefs, past and present, as well as emerging leaders, and acknowledge their role in caring for the Vanua. The Honorable Speaker, it is my duty as Prime Minister to commend this motion that this Honorable House thanks His Excellency the President of the Sovereign Democratic Republic of Fiji, Ratu Ngama Tawakatalati Lalamalabu, and Turambal Natilakau, for his most gracious speech that opened this 2025 session of Parliament, the House of Representatives, on Monday, the 24th of February, 2025. He reminded us all that this moment also provides us an opportunity to reflect on our collective vision for our beloved nation, a vision that is focused on progress, prosperity, and unity. As representatives of the people of Fiji, it is our responsibility to shape the future of our beloved nation and its people by continuing to build up a society that is just, peaceful, and resilient. As a nation, we must work together in unity, ensuring that no one is left behind in our quest for economic growth, security, prosperity, and sustainable development. I echo the words of His Excellency, and I quote, "This Parliament is not just a chamber of debate, but it is a house of hope," end of quote. But I add that it is indeed a beacon of stewardship, a fountain of progress, and an epitome of the democratic spirit that binds us together as one people, one nation, with one destiny. This is our solemn responsibility. To serve is to lead with integrity in building a better future for all Fijians. During the past 2 years, we in this August House have set directions, shaped policies, and enacted laws that enable us to turn the corner, drive development, lift up our people, and strengthen our resilience in the face of challenges of our time. His Excellency urged us to set our sights high, that our vision for the future must encompass inclusivity, sustainability, and resilience. We must continue to build a Fiji where every citizen can succeed, where our environment is preserved for generations to come, and where we work hand in hand with our neighbors to promote peace and stability here at home and in our region. In other words, we must never grow weary in doing good. For surely, we and those after us will harvest the manifold blessings of God, the very one in whom we live and move and have our being. The world today faces rapid changes, economic shifts, and existential threats brought about by the climate crisis. Together, they will test our resolve to breaking point. But as a nation of God-fearing people, we can boast that we are a nation built on faith, on love, and the indomitable spirit of unity. It has been exactly those moments of trials and pain that have inspired our will, hardened our resolve, and brought us closer together. Let us take a moment to recognize the strength and resilience of our people and to pay tribute to our founding fathers, our past leaders, and members who have served in this august house. They laid the foundation of this nation, and on their shoulders we stand today. While His Excellency rightly pointed out the virtues of the late Mr. Nelson Mandela, I want to support that by focusing on our local heroes, the great chiefs who ceded these islands to Great Britain in 1874, the great chief, statesman, and soldier, Ratsalalus Puna, the great leaders who negotiated our terms of independence, the late Ratsakamses Mara, the late Mr. A.D. Patel, the late Mr. S.M. Koya, the late Mr. Jairam Reddy, the late Ratu Sir George Zakambau, and the late Ratu Sir Peneya Kanatambatu Nganlau. Those that played very important support roles in those formative and transitional years. The lady Rolal Malabu Mara, the late Ratu J.R. Dovi, and Angelo Celine Dovi, the late Mrs. Irene Jaina Ryan, the noises that became the voices of the voiceless workers, the late Apisay Torra, the late Tanyala Vitata, the late Karkin Nabuso. They would have been thrilled had they lived long enough to witness the outcome of negotiations on the Vatukola miners' grievances and protests that started in 1991. I also pay my respects to my predecessors, the late Ratsa Kamises Mara, when Turambal and Tuineau and Tuilau Sound Nolau. The late Dr. Timothy Urui Bunda Mbavanda, Turangi Toke Verda, of Visese Bunda. The late Lysenian Garcia, Turanga Tukumbudo, of Mavana of Nomalau and Lau. And Admiral retired Ratu Jose Abrang and Benmarama. They took in a Binivorno of Cuba and Bautele. The Speaker, I'm certainly aware that when people mention my name in the future, it will be without any traditional titles, apart from the one graciously bestowed on me by the chief and the people of Leauva village in Samoa recently, a title which simply means a fighter of some notoriety. We also remember those that had made the supreme sacrifice in World War I and World War II, especially Corporal Stephanie Sunevalu VC, those in the Malayan campaign, and in latter years of peacekeeping operations under the banners of the United Nations and the multinational forces and observers. These were men and women who had trodden the path of leadership in this great small island state of Fiji. We are their successors. We owe it to them and Fijians of today and the future to lead justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly before our God. And that is from the Old Testament book of the prophet Micah, chapter 6, verse 8. Let us use the examples left to us by these chiefs, embrace their wisdom, emulate their courage, and work together. Only through this shall we turn challenges into opportunities and transforming aspirations into achievements for all Fijians, as His Excellency the President had underscored. Because of their service and sacrifice, Fiji can never be classified as a beggar nation. As some sarcastic Fijians post on social media their thoughts, then when the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, Professor Biman Prasad, the Honorable DPM Kamkamida, and I visit our development partners, we go without begging boats and ask when we return whether we have been given gifts or grants for our development programs. I want to assure all Fijians of today and of the future, Fiji can never be classed as a beggar. Fiji has played its part in global conflicts of the past. as it continues to play its part in peacekeeping and conflict resolutions of efforts of today. It has earned its place as a global player, perhaps punching above its own weight, and rightfully earning its place among nations in the global fight for humanity today. We may be classified as a small developing economy, but I must say that we are proud to have stood with other great powers in the past world wars, Commonwealth wars, United Nations peacekeeping, and have so rightfully earned our stripes and place among nations, and we are not beggars. We have been reminded by His Excellency that this Parliament must always be a place where ideas flourish, where debates are driven by purpose, and where every decision is made with the people's best interests at heart. Let us commit and promise to our youth the future of this great nation, to tirelessly pursue a brighter, wealthier, and more peaceful nation, the nation of their dreams, the nation of their ambitions, and which their hard work will define as the destiny of our nation. Let us be bold in our aspirations, relentless in our pursuit of excellence, and unwavering in our commitment to build a better Fiji that thrives through unity and prosperity. His Excellency noted that we live, and I quote, "We live in challenging times. The whole world is experiencing the same phenomenon. No one is spared from these challenges," end of quote. Although the benefits of development, particularly technological advancements, are reaching most of us, we cannot deny the fact that many of our people are still left out, exploiting their plight, particularly on social media, is demeaning. We must be cautious and ensure that the information shared on social media is accurate, that it reflects reality, and is intended for the common good rather than exacerbating divisions. So the use of our freedom of expression, while far-reaching effects, with the far-reaching effects of information technology, can be exceedingly harmful to family and customary relationships. But I echo the words of His Excellency that we must use them wisely and without malice. Let us use our words to encourage, not to disparage. His Excellency reflected on his own journey as a public officer, as a politician, the parliamentary speaker, and now president, and thought about what would inspire one to act, particularly at this time of uncertainty due to the fast-changing environment. He felt that as president and a traditional leader, he must take the first step in making the necessary adjustments to meet the demands of modern-day Fiji. And he urged us here today, including those listening in on the radio or watching on television or live stream, in particular our traditional leaders, that we must all remain firmly committed to working together to build a vibrant and prosperous Fiji. I echo His Excellency's words, and I quote, "It's time for united and collective action rather than just grand speeches, talk, and rhetoric," end of quote. We need to plan and then act out our plans. Let us engage in respectful dialogue and constructive debates. As national leaders, we are called for the common good of our people. Our focus must be on our commonality and shared destiny. Together, we can build a better future, one that reflects the aspirations of all our citizens. His Excellency has called on members of the Great Council of Chiefs to do the same. I am firmly committed to transformational leadership. This to me means that we must be compassionate, we must have empathy, and focus on equity. Most importantly, we must continue embracing inclusivity rather than assimilation. We recognize that multiculturalism does not exist in isolation. It is based on the originality of the various ethnic groups, for therein lies the rich mix of our diversity, which we must embrace and nurture. This is the premise that undergirds Fiji's agency that leads to creative innovation and new ways of doing things. These are the catalysts of entrepreneurship and, above all, vibrancy and growth. Through these, our long-term vision is within reach. A dynamic nation that will enjoy lasting peace, progress, and prosperity. Economic growth and development. Honorable Speaker, sir, we must acknowledge the socio-economic challenges that we face today as a nation. While the challenges are significant, they nonetheless present opportunities for transformation and growth. Fiji stands at a critical juncture in its history. Our socio-economic challenges are undeniable, yet our resolve to overcome them must remain solid. Honorable Speaker, government will continue rolling out measures to stimulate even greater investment, promote sustainable industries, and enhance trade opportunities. Government will continue diversifying our economy to be more broad-based by investing in agriculture, tourism, and the digital transformation. Special attention will also be given to micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs. In addition, the government will prioritize infrastructure development, ensuring that roads, water, ports, and energy supply systems support national productivity, and continue attracting foreign investments through new policy, but the interests of our local industries and workers will continue to be safeguarded. Our nation's progress is measured not only by its economic achievements, but also by the well-being of its people. We will ensure that there is equity to minimize the risk of our people falling into a vicious cycle of poverty. The legislative agenda, Mr. Speaker, sir, will strengthen social protection programs, ensuring that vulnerable groups, including the elderly, people with disabilities, and low-income families, have access to essential services. Honorable Speaker, to appreciate the economic status of our nation, we must consider the reality that we are a very small country with a very narrow-based and vulnerable economy. We hardly have control of the supply chain. This can be seen in the cost of petroleum products, which we very much depend on for transportation and to some extent for power generation. Basically, we have very little control over inflation because we depend on high volume of imports, thus imported inflation. All we can do is to manage ourselves better, yet we have no control over exogenous factors. While our domestic economy has recovered to pre-pandemic levels, there are still many challenges besetting our economy. In 2024, our growth forecast was revised upward to 3.8% from the initial projection of 2.8%. The Honorable DPM, Minister for Finance, will have more to say on that. Similarly, growth for 2025 is projected at 3.4%, largely driven by the service and related sectors. A higher growth rate can be achieved easily if we continue improving the business environment for investment, maintain the momentum of economic reforms, ensure political stability, and provide confidence through well-crafted and coordinated macroeconomic policies, and embrace the rule of law. Mr. Speaker, sir, Pulse economy has recovered from the effects of COVID-19. This recovery has been driven largely by the tourism and financial services, and we are committed to broadening the base of our recovery to cushion internal and external shocks. Food security is also very critical, especially under the current uncertainties in the world trade environment. We must therefore protect our local industries and make them more productive. Although the economy has moved beyond the pre-pandemic level of growth, the government continues to emphasize fiscal consolidation and debt sustainability. The government is committed to striking a delicate balance between rebuilding fiscal buffers and supporting growth by allocating resources to key priority sectors, particularly the resource-based sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, with those words in the time allocated to me, I leave the specific remarks relating to critical infrastructure investment to the respective ministers and assistant ministers and honorable government members, and commend the motion to the honorable House, and respectfully reserve my right of reply at the end of the debate. Thank you very much.